It is absolutely terrifying, Mr. Speaker, for many of our residents in the United States that the President of the United States has the power to just decide to launch a nuclear weapon right now. Think about that for just one moment. The use of just a fraction of the nuclear weapons we possessed, most of which are ready for launch within minutes of an order from any president, would lead to mass destruction and just unprecedented global scale.
Bottom line, nuclear weapons are tools of war, death, and mass destruction. They can't be used without catastrophic humanitarian consequences that violate every single principle of international law and our shared humanity. And we are headed in the wrong direction with a trigger-happy president about to take office. Will he renew the new Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty? Will he ratify the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons? Will he decrease spending on nuclear weapons or decommission our already massive nuclear arsenal? Of course not. When we invest in nuclear proliferation, I want us to remember that we could be providing assistance in our communities. We could be supporting the education of our children. We could be transforming our infrastructure, delivering nutritious meals to families. We could be assisting first-time homebuyers. We could be building a quality healthcare system. Thank you, Congressman McGovern, for holding this time to discuss the very real threat nuclear weapons represent to our shared safety and our peace. Mr. Speaker, it's been almost 80 years since the beginning of the nuclear age, and given where we are at this precise moment, the risk posed by nuclear weapons feels real, it feels present, and it feels tangible. Despite warnings from advocates and the United Nations, the threat of nuclear escalation is on the rise. In fact, our nation's leadership has played an important role in either mitigating or escalating this dangerous reality. And what we do and how we lead and what we say to the world will continue to be a crucial factor in the nuclear arms race and war in the years to come. And folks, I'm tired of saying it, but words matter. And I quote, "Let it be an arms race. We will outmatch them at every pass and outlast them all." That was the incoming president's answer to the question of a possible nuclear war back in 2016. But we know that as our nation and other states agreed in a 2022 declaration, nuclear war cannot be won and must never be fought. Despite the claims of warmongers, including our president-elect and the military-industrial complex, nuclear weapons are not defensive or an effective strategy for deterrence. Look, I can go on and on and on, and Congressman McGovern would need another 5 special order hours. But what I'm saying is that these are life-giving investments in people. Nuclear weapons only bring total annihilation. We must pursue another path forward. We have to pursue a path towards peace. And we can do that together.
We know, Mr. Speaker, that a nuclear war cannot be won and must never be fought. There are roughly 13,000 nuclear weapons currently stored in bunkers, missiles silos, warehouses, airfields, Navy bases all around the world. One warhead has the power to wipe out an entire city. A full-scale nuclear war could devastate life as we know it. The catastrophic risks posed by nuclear weapons are growing. We know that Putin continues to recklessly threaten the use of nuclear force in the war in Ukraine, as well as genocidal maniac Netanyahu continues to recklessly raise the nuclear threat level all across the Middle East. The White House and Congress need to double down on efforts to work towards diplomacy and negotiate new constraints to cap and further reduce nuclear arsenals. We must implement a new nuclear arms control framework to prevent an unrestrained nuclear arms race. Members of Congress on both sides of the aisle should back common sense efforts to adopt measures to reduce the risk of nuclear war. We must continue to work towards an international agreement, Mr. Speaker, with all countries that possess nuclear weapons through a very comprehensive nuclear test ban treaty that we already have now. Again, also, many of my residents continue to say, stop the United States from being addicted to wars. We could be using so much of these resources to fund clean water, to fund housing, to fund childcare, and so much more that invests in a future, not the end of our world.